Music is an art form that intertwines itself with our understanding of vibrating objects, the study of auditory perception, the craft of the instrument maker, the manifestation of vibrating objects, and the auditory nervous functions, unless you're a musician. Okay, that's not entirely fair. Yes, music is all of those things, but the point in learning them is sort of to forget them. Knowing the mechanics of the instrument you play is absolutely helpful in refining technique when you're practicing, and some of us are a little more obsessive than others, but if that's all you're thinking about when you're performing, something's probably gone terribly wrong. The things that make music, resonance, tone, style, passion, those don't come from equations, they come from years and years of practice. That is, of course, unless you're a self-playing violin. Here at the Murtogh D Guinness Collection of Mechanical Musical Instruments and Automata at the Morris Museum in Morristown, New Jersey, there are over 750 machines that play music from programmed media, not recorded sound. But this is the only one that made me say that's not fair, because the movement of a bow across the strings of the violin has to be so precise. Musicians work on it for their whole lives, and I had no idea how a self-playing violin could sound, well, tolerable. And even if it could, in what situation a machine playing an instrument as delicate as the violin could possibly replace a human? And the thing I really couldn't get over was how.
We're standing in front of the Mills Violano Virtuoso, and the Mills Violano was made by the Mills Novelty Company, Chicago, Illinois. The first ones came off the production line about 1913. This particular one by the serial number dates from about 1926. What they had, the inventor had created or devised was celluloid discs that are stacked together in a conical form. And they're on a variable speed motor, and they also come in contact or engage each one of the individual strings of the violin via magnets. And they're sort of spring-loaded, so they have a little bit of variable touch as they come in contact with the string, as well as varying speeds, RPMs. And that creates a wide nuance of the string actually sounding off each one of the strings. What the Mills invention or creation was for a hanging weight system. So where you normally find tuning pegs on a violin, here you have a pivoting arm with a hanging lead weight. So it keeps the strings under a constant tension. The entire instrument operates on direct current voltage. So there's multiple motors, electric motors in it that run on DC, both for the roll frame that turns the punched paper roll that holds the programming, as well as the bow motor, which is variable speed that controls the RPMs of the bow wheels themselves. There's also magnets that throw the hammers against the strings for the piano in the back of the keyboardless piano. Most of the visitors that come to the museum are fascinated with this instrument from a musical standpoint, but in particular about the violin playing. They're amazed that they might have seen player pianos through the ages, all different forms and fashions. But the automatic violin playing instruments are very scarce, very rare to find in our field of mechanical musical instruments. The Mills Violano Virtuoso was one of the most popular through the 1920s. You'd find them in all sorts of public venues where the public could drop a nickel in the Nickelodeon to hear a tune.
Virtually anywhere we go today, there's going to be sound of a sort, whether it's music or an instrumental sort of background. It's another way of drawing people in. You know, you go to that coffee shop and you know you can sit down, hang out with your friends, and you don't even notice the music in the background, but it's creating an atmosphere for you. And what many people don't realize, that a lot of these older vintage instruments led to the innovations. If we want to look at 19th century instruments or early 20th century and today's music, well, what do we have today? We have streaming services where we can pick and choose our instrument, our music, our performer. So in that sense, well, where did it all start? Well, maybe you have to go back about 100 years. because these are not new ideas. Maybe some of the technology, absolutely, some of the technology is new. It's always moving forward, but conceptually, it hasn't changed that much.
In the end, the strangest thing about the self-playing violin is that it's not strange. The way we consume music, all media on the internet, so everything started with things like this, and there's a lot of necessary nuance lost there, but on a broad scale, that's how we got here. It does beg the question, can a machine make music? Not just press buttons that correspond to notes on a page, but create real expressive musical music? My initial answer was no, of course not. But after talking to friends and colleagues, I changed my mind. Yeah, probably. It's already happening, sort of. OpenAI's Project Jukebox is a generative model that can create short samples of music. It doesn't always work, but when it works, and it sounds like music. I won't get into it because this video would be far too long, and 12Tone has made a fantastic video that goes into way more depth and clarity on AI than I ever could hear. It's a fascinating topic, and machines like these, just made in the future, very well make real music. But music is more than sound. It's gesture and motion and connection to an artist. It's knowing someone felt what you feel. But it's important to remember context is complex and it matters always, which is why this collection matters. Because to really get something, context doesn't end with information. Context starts with your perspective. And if something challenges your perspective, no amount of information can really mean all that much, unless you actively change the way your life has led you to view the world. Normally, that's difficult, but everything here is so interesting and novel that you get caught up in the wonder of it all and don't even realize you're challenging the belief that a goal can't be accomplished successfully in ways you've never considered. If you're aware of that, you walk away with a broader perspective on the world. Intrigue and curiosity have done the hard work for you. You could debate whether this music is comparable to what humans produce for a lifetime, but that doesn't matter. This is a form of human creation. It's unique, it's different, but it's not wrong. That's why a self-playing violin, everything in the Guinness Collection, anything interesting or new is so important to pay attention to. The ability to expand your perspective beyond your own experience, to contextualize things and people you come across with nuance, has value far beyond any given field. Many thanks to Jeremie, Ryder, and Michele Marinelli at the Guinness Collection of the Morris Museum. Information about visiting so you can see mechanical musical instruments in action for yourself is linked in the description. The human violinist in this video is Linnaea Brophy, a friend and former music school peer. In addition to performing professionally, Linnaea has a YouTube channel where she posts the pieces she's most passionate about. Not only does she deserve a larger audience, more people deserve to hear her play, so I encourage you to head over to her channel. You will not be disappointed. And this video is the first in a series. There will be more from the Morris Museum coming to this channel over the next few months, and I will see you in the next video.